This is section 6.6, and we're going to talk about matrices, learning about the identity matrix and the inverse of a matrix. So the identity matrix is signified by a capital I, and then this little number tells you the size of the matrix, either a 2 by 2, 3 by 3. If it was an I4, it'd be a 4 by 4. You have a diagonal of ones, and everything else is zeros. That should look familiar from when we were solving last section. So to get the identity, I mean, you could type that in, but you can have one just to use second matrix over to math, and number 5 is identity. So if you put it in your calculator as identity and it gives you a parentheses and you put 2 and hit enter, you'll get the 1001. Now, if you want the inverse of a matrix, you put one in. So if you put this A into your calculator as a 2 by 2, then you go back in and you get A, the name, and you hit the inverse key, it will give you the inverse. So we're going to do one, and we'll do it from the beginning and help you see how to do it on the calculator. So let's see. All right, let me clear whatever we've got there, and we're going to put this one in and see if we can do that one. So second matrix over to edit, and that one's a 2 by 2. So we'll do this and do 2 by 2, and then we will have 2, 5, 0, -3. All right, so we got that in right. We're going to second quit. Now we're going to go back into second matrix and choose the A that we put it in. All right, now here is the inverse button. It's the thing we've been hitting for second matrix, and we're just going to hit that. So that gives us the inverse up there, and we'll hit enter, and it gives us that. So now you can see you got this, but we are asked in our homework maybe to put it in fractions because they may think you're doing it by hand. So all we have to do there is hit math, hit enter on fraction, and there we go. We've got our numbers to input. So it's really pretty easy. You put it in, and then you're just going to get the letter and then hit this inverse button. So let's go look at our problems. All right, number 1 says determine if B is the inverse matrix of A, and it's telling you to do it a different way to calculate the product AB and the product BA. We don't have to do that. Just put in A as we just did and find the inverse of it. If it is this exactly, your answer is yes. If it's not, your answer is no. Same way with number 2. Both of those happen to be a no. But that's all you do. Put the first one in and find the matrix. Okay? Predict the result of I2 times A and A times I2. Use the calculator to verify. Well, let's remember, multiplying by the identity gives the same matrix. It's like if you multiply by 1, you get the same number. So if here's I2, but we know what that is. If we multiply I2 by A, we're going to get this matrix, so we get here. And then A times that, we're still going to get that. So that one's easy. We didn't have to do much. All right, and the directions on this say do it without a calculator. You just ignore that. We're doing the calculator. So you would put this one in as A, second quit, go get the letter A, hit the inverse button, and you will get this. So I think 4 and 5 are straightforward. Let's do 6 together and see if we can get that one fine. So we'll get this over here, and second quit. We'll just clear all this business up. Second matrix over to edit, and we have a 2 by 2, and we're going to put in 4, 2, 2, 5. All right, then we're going to second quit. We're going to go get that name, second matrix, get the A, just hit enter on A. We're going to hit the inverse button. And we get that. And we've got decimals, but they want fractions, it sounds like. So we'll just hit math and enter on fraction and enter one more time. And it looks like we have, let me move this over, what we're supposed to have right there. Okay, so that one's pretty straightforward. Do the same thing with number 7. It'll be a 3 by 3, but you'll do it exactly the same way. Put it in, quit, go back and get A, and hit the inverse. Do the same thing with number 8. It does want your answer in decimals. Now, for 8 and 9 and 10, it wants 2 decimal places. So I want to show you something that will help you. So in your calculator, you can go to mode, and up here, go to float. Let's see if I can get to float. And if you want 2 decimal places, you go sit on 2 and hit enter. So now everything you put in, it's going to round to 2 places, but that way you don't have to do any rounding. You'll just get the answer. So I'm going to do this one with you and show you how nice that is. So second matrix, over to edit, enter, and that's a 3 by 3. All right, and see it's giving us 2 decimal places. That's fine. 3, 0, 2, 4, -1, 3, 1, -1, 0. Enter. Okay. And then second quit. Second matrix, get the number, the letter A, hit the inverse button, and enter. And your things are already in the right way. 1.00, -0.67, etc. So you are telling the calculator you need those 2 decimal places. And it'll be really nice here. It'll all be done. And so you can use that. I would say when you get to number 8, change that mode on your calculator. Then when you're done with this homework, go back to mode, go down to the word float, and just hit enter. Then it takes it off of rounding, because you don't want that all the time. But it would be helpful for the rest of this assignment. And number 10 is the last one. So that'll help you with inverses.